Hey everybody, we are live here for episode 2 of Tales of the Grimoire. I'm Basement 45, the clan media manager. I'm your host for tonight. With me, I've got my co-host here, Bahamut Zero.
Hey everybody.
We have DublinMike.
What's up?
We have Ciphergiest.
Good evening.
And we have Rykert.
Hello, everyone.
Alright, so thanks for joining us here. So we got a lot to talk about with the House of Wolves info explosion we've had since the last podcast. So why don't we just get right into it with talk about Trials of Osiris. Now that we've seen what it is, how do we feel about it? Are we pumped about what it is? Rykert, you want to get us going?
Considering that I've really just started getting into PvP for Destiny, I think it's a nice step to change for the Crucible. I mean, up until Destiny dropped in before I got my PS4, I played strictly COD, right? I don't know how many hours I put into Black Ops 2, and all I did was PvP. Didn't even finish the campaign for that. Then when Destiny rolled around I got the beta, I played strictly PvP, started dabbling a little bit in the Crucible, found it got very, very boring very quick. So to me, that's going this way here. I find it adds a nice little change to it, and especially with the smaller maps in 3v3, I think it's going to really open up the doors for Destiny.
Yeah, I know I've been playing a lot of skirmish with like random Ikizami recently, and it's a fun mode when you actually get in with some people who you can talk with and communicate with. I've been looking forward to that. One of the things I actually think is really neat is that it sounds like they're going to open up the elimination mode outside of Trials of Osiris, so you can run that all week, is to kind of get ready for the weekend rundown too. So it's going to be fairly easy to get into. It sounds like we're going to be able to run the daily Crucible playlist, and that's going to give us these passage coins to get in, and that's going to get us in to kind of start by those modifiers and buffs, and then after that we can just buy our way back in if we need to for 100 Glimmer. Sounds like pretty solid to me. So are we concerned as a PvE clan that we're going to go in there and just get wrecked? Since there's no skill-based matchmaking, what do people think about that?
I don't think so. The biggest thing to see, so for myself, if you looked like 2 Iron Banners ago, I went and I might have done one evening, and there was a lot of cursing and swearing and didn't want anything to do with it. The last Iron Banner, I actually reached rank 5 for the first time. This last time, I was rank 5 partway through the week, and I started really coming into my own at PvP. Geez, Baja was there for a couple of nights, and I had some pretty serious games. So,
Absolutely. I think another reason that we're not is because I think we're going to actually do pretty good, and especially maybe if it's not the first couple weeks eventually. Because if there's anything that we have proven is that in our raid groups, certainly, and then even just in our pickups, all that sort of stuff, that we enjoy and excel at working together as a group. Yeah. I think we're going to find out with the 3 versus 3 maps and the way that the gameplay is going to go. I think you can just tell from skirmish, tactics are going to be a lot of this, right?
Right. I agree.
I think, just think about, I don't want to beat this into a dead horse sweater, but same thing with when we were doing hard mode Crota. We did a really good job communicating as a clan what worked, what didn't work, and saying what we thought we needed to do better and improve. And we kept doing it until we got a strategy down that if you have a team to practice it, we can get it first run at this point a lot of times. So, as always, the thing that's probably going to end up driving people crazy is being on 7 wins and then having lag fuck something up. And that's the only thing that really gets me about the Crucible. MSU made a great point the other day, to take such a fun product and have it sometimes just annoy the shit out of you because of lag, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So the great news is they're matching based on latency, and
yeah, that's a good point.
That's the best thing I've heard. So I mean,
and that was smart on their point. Cause can you imagine not having any items to take care of a loss? and then
Right.
you're getting your 7th or 8th win. Instead, you lose it because somebody's doing something. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be maddening.
Yeah. All right. So we got a question here for Mike from the Twitch chat. Frag would like to know, since you're the magical stripper, does that mean you can make the pole disappear?
I'm sure you could find a way to make it disappear, Frag. Are you talking about make my pole disappear? Yeah, I'm sure we could work something out.
Excellent. Excellent.
Gee.
I'm not sure I like where this conversation's going.
Right. So, Cypher, what are your thoughts?
Free.
On the trials,
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent step up for the PvP situation in Destiny in general. It's a definite step towards what I would think would be more of an esports type of thing. It's very skill based. I'm not really big on the fact that they're doing it all based on latency, mainly because my own connection isn't the best at even at the best of times. But for getting a more solid experience for what's going on in that type of situation, I think it's the best decision they could have made, and it'll be I think it'll be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, how do we feel about the trials only running for a part of the reset period? You know, Friday to Tuesday, basically. Now, do we like that? Do we not like it? I know for me it's going to be kind of difficult because the weekends are not the days I have the time to play as dedicated, just because of family kind of things. I know a couple other people are in the clan have had the same problems. Do we think that's going to be a problem moving forward in general for trials? And do we think they'll open it up eventually, or do we think it's going to stay the way it is?
I'm not sure I know what the point of it is. Like, I'm not sure why it makes a difference that it's 5 days versus 7.
Yeah.
I've never understood limiting things by days all that much, anyways. Yeah, I never understand like why you would want to limit something to somebody's schedule, especially for people like TC and stuff like that. I mean, it's 5 days. It's a lot less restrictive than the other, but I guess I'm just not sure I see the point of for it. Is there like a good argument to do it that way? I've never understood what the argument is.
The only thing I can come up with is they're trying to maybe the first couple of days of the reset period allow everybody to do their nightfalls, the prison elders, the raids. Because I think if you look, that's front-loaded heavy right now in terms of who's playing when. And I think they're kind of trying to get people to shift over to PvP on the weekends because I think PvP is stronger on the weekends because that's when you have your more hardcore PvP players playing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of guessing.
Or your teeny boppers that beat the hell out of everybody.
Exactly.
Right. Right. So yeah. What about the reward system? It's a little bit different than it has been in the past. It's all win-based. Do we think it's going to be that hard to get that 5 wins to get armor, and then that 7 wins to get the gear or the weapons, rather?
I think it's going to be a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Well, so we haven't seen all of the items that you can use to affect your scorecard, though, right? Like, we have an idea of what those are, but I'm assuming that if you want to get stuff, then you and your group can save up the items that you need to ensure it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think it'll ensure it that much for you. I think, there's one that'll give you a win boost so that 1 win counts as 2.
Yep.
There's another one that'll forget a loss, and there's one other one, right?
It gives you an automatic.
And you start with a win. You start with a win.
Right.
So, I mean, it gives you a nice boost, but I don't think it's going to give you too much of an edge. It'll be that one thing that'll say it sets you over the edge for that one time, so you can say, yeah, I got that item that time.
So you can only use the forget a loss once?
I think you can use it once, but I think you can stack all 3 of them.
Yeah, so as long as you have the passage points to buy them, after you use it, probably on the next scorecard, you could buy them again. So it's probably only used once per scorecard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah. So, Mike, what are your thoughts as a guy who's kind of walked away from Destiny months ago and somehow stuck around in this clan?
I'm actually pretty excited about it. Honestly, there were a couple of factors that led to me getting away. One was work. Just had no time to play. And another was I'm not really much of a raid guy. I can hear Cypher cursing me already. But, you know, this really, I'm excited about this. I was actually, I got the House of Wolves DLC. I went ahead and paid for it today, so I'm ready.
How about that?
Good man.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back into it. So, you know, but maybe I won't get raped too hard.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure rape by its very definition is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, that one. Praise go, that one too bad. I don't know if that's ever been said.
All
Well,
right.
I've seen some of RC's matches, so PvP matches, so you know, I can't be that bad.
We have some of the best around. We have some of the ones that are not the best around.
I do think, like I noticed this past Iron Banner, though, I think a lot of people in the clan have gotten a lot better at PvP. Like, I think at the beginning we started out very raid-focused and centric, but we haven't had a new raid in a long time. I mean, we got hard mode, but that was like, what, 5 months ago, and even then it was changing up a mode, difficulty.
Right.
Well,
And you can tell people put a lot of time into the Iron Banners and stuff like that because a lot of people seem a lot better. We seem to get wins a lot quicker this time than we did before.
Yep.
And I think we're going to learn a strategy that works for 3 versus 3 pretty quickly.
Right, yeah, it's actually been fun for us to kind of jump into the PvP thing while we're waiting for House of Wolves to drop. It's just been a different way to actually acclimate with people that you don't normally play with, because I know for me, it's usually the guys I just raid with or the guys I play with, but getting into the Iron Banner stuff and some of the Centurion stuff that's running on the weekends with the PvP stuff, that's been, you know, a lot of fun and kind of refreshing, almost like relearning raid mechanics in terms of, all right, this map we get these points, learning how to work together some more, and that's really what's the rewarding part, is the working together part.
Yeah, big thank you to Devil for setting that up again.
Yes, big props to Devil Dog.
I was there the night that he had that, well, the day after he had the brainchild. So it was 2 Iron Banners ago. We went in, there was like myself, Devil, I think Cypher was there, and a few other people, and we played against, I think it was like DoD Echo or something like that. And having just separated from Dads of Destiny, we're like, okay, we got to have fun with this. And we spanked them bad. And we're like, all right.
Spanked.
So then
Decimated.
yeah, well, we had such a good laugh at it and everything, and then next thing you know, we see the chat on, because we still hadn't switched to the band at that point. We see the chat online saying, you know what, I want to start a PvP group. Who's in? And since starting that, I think like when we started it, we had maybe what, 6 to 8 people,
Right.
and now all of a sudden it's like half the clan is now congregating over to Centurions.
Like 26, 27, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, shit. Sorry about that in the stream. Hit the wrong button on the mouse. Outro screen was a little early there. But
well,
thanks for
you know, going back to talking about the, I guess being, or having problems getting, what am I trying to say here? Worried about playing against other people. You know, with the new maps coming out, it's not going to be like anybody's going to have a real advantage over anybody else. Like, nobody's going to know these maps. That's one of the big things. You jump into a game like COD, and you buy it 6 months after everybody else has it. They know the maps, and you're screwed.
Christmas
These new maps coming out, that's going to sort of balance everything.
Right.
Christmas names. Who just said that? That was awesome.
I love Christmas news.
But one of the things they were talking about, though, Mike, when they did the Trials of Osiris stream, was that they were going to do, what was it, Burning Light or something. It's the map on Mercury, and
Burning Shrine.
For the Burning Shrine, yeah. So we've been playing that for the last like 2 Iron Banners, not to mention that it's in the regular Crucible rotation. So if that's the first map, everybody already knows that map. Now, it's going to be a different dynamic because it's more of a TDM as opposed to control, but still.
Yeah, no, what's funny is when I first started playing that map, when I put it into the regular control rotation, I absolutely hated it. But since then, now I kind of get to know it, I really like that map. It's a lot of fun, a lot of ways to flank, a lot of nice long sights to things, and it's one of those strategic maps where if you can swing around and get that control point, you can really get the flow of the map, and it's not inherently unfair when you spawn, but there's some good strategy that can go along with it. So it's going to be a busy weekend, I think, when whatever week that is, the 22nd to the 26th.
Yeah.
A lot of burning trying that weekend, I think.
There's the only thing maybe a little unfair about that map is being able to hide in the sun. It's kind of fun sitting in that sun and having people have a hard time getting beat on you.
Yeah, well, you should attack straight from B anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I'm going to
Even
go on
down
record
all the
saying-
way towards A on the right, though. Right from C.
Yes, so Iggy's getting angry with us because we're not talking about PoE. So, given that, how do you guys feel about the current state of the Crucible?
Iggy's getting mad because we're not talking about PoE. I'm surprised he hasn't messaged for Mike to take his shirt off. I mean,
You have to pay for that. You have to pay for that.
Yeah,
He's already got his own collection of pictures at home anyways.
Iggy's wondering if you accept PayPal, Mike.
Bitcoin.
It's frozen currency for selling dealers everywhere. Awesome.
Yeah, so not to belabor Crucible that much more, but the next patch is coming out. I really like that they're going in and they're doubling the rep and the number of marks you get per match that you do. Because right now, grinding out Crucible marks is a pain in the ass. So it's great that they're kind of getting that more in line with the Vanguard strikes. You can do those Vanguard strikes in, 10 minutes and get your 6 marks, where it can take you 20 minutes to get 6, or a half hour even in the Crucible now. So I think that's a great change.
I'd like to see them up the weekly amount, like your weekly max, say maybe double that. I found that you really put your nose to the grind, you can easily grind out either mark,
Right.
but you need 2 weeks if you want to get the right weapon, because most of the time they're 150 marks, and you can't have any more than a max 200 anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see that happen anytime soon, though, mainly because of the way that they keep the currency running. It helps to make sure that you don't have all the items as quick as you can. Just keeps progression slow.
Right.
Yeah, you haven't seen my vault.
I bet you the other reason they do it is they encourage you to do other things too. So once you fill up on your Vanguard marks, maybe go start working on Crucible marks. There might be some design put into it that way too. But I wouldn't mind seeing at least get up to 150, so you could at least buy one thing a week of whatever you want. I think that would be fair. So you could buy a weapon a week anyway. But anyways, so anything else we want to talk about with Trials or Crucible before we move on?
Well, I was just gonna say I still have never bought a weapon that wasn't Iron Banner. Whatever you can buy from the trials and stuff, I'll buy that stuff. But I've never bought anything from a vendor either. My rep on all of the different factions still sits at 0, except for Vanguard.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't know why, but I've never bought anything from the vendor. If I get something from a package, I get something from a package. But otherwise, I just never get it.
All right, so Iggy would like to point out that Bungie just confirmed all House of Wolf exotics will drop in the raids too. That's an interesting thing.
Nice.
So, reason to raid still.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that because we were talking about doing, on our Wednesday, Thursday group, doing the new kind of content on Wednesdays and the old on Thursdays, and I was kind of wondering, well, what's the point to even do it on Thursdays, except for the chances at exotics, and if it even gives you at the new ones, even all that much better.
Yeah, it keeps the band back together, too.
Yeah, give you a reason to keep your 6-player teams together. That's a good point.
So, given that, let's start talking Prison of Elders. So, we had the reveal this week on Wednesday. Looks like a chaotic mode, which is going to be a ton of fun, I think. I like that there's, the multiple different levels. So, you got the level 28, which is match made, so you have something to do with other people. They're just random if you want to just jump on for however long, run that. The interesting thing is the rewards aren't that great there. It's about the same as a rock strike. But then you got the 3 different challenges that are different for each week, and they rotate, so there's a nice chance to get some rewards there. So, Cypher, what are your initial thoughts on Prison of Elders?
Can't wait for it. Oh my god, it just looks insanely hectic, and it looks like it's going to be a complete blast. I really wish that it would have been a team of 6, but I think a team of 3 is just going to make it that much more hectic with everything we've seen going on in there.
Yeah.
Then they're with the bringing in of the little random things throughout. Like you've got the modifier skulls that are going to be popping in, even little things like what the web mines that they have in there as well. Just things to mix it up and make it a little bit more different each time you go through.
Right. Well, what's even neat is if you play at the different levels each week, it's going to be a totally different playlist of what rooms or rounds that you're actually doing. So that's going to be nice. So you're not going to get in this groove of I do this, then I do this, then I do this like a raid. It's just going to be different every time you run it. It's going to take a long time to learn them all too, just because there's 5 different rotate or playlists, so to say, that they have. Then each of the random modifiers on top of that each time. So you're not going to get that groove, which I really like. It's going to be a lot of on-the-fly teamwork. So, Mike, what do you think about it?
It's almost like a horde mode,
Yeah.
and I love horde modes. I mean, it is one of my favorite things. Shut up. Horde. I know what you were thinking. It reminds me very much of. I hate to go back to it again, but what Call of Duty started doing with their survival modes, where you and a buddy just fight waves and waves of enemies. I mean, this is another reason I went and bought the House of Wolves DLC again today, because I mean I love this stuff.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to get yourself leveled up, if I remember right, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm like 26. Well, actually, I think I got back up to 28.
Yeah. Well, so you can do the matchmate. But I think that basically we just marks get to 32, so that's not too bad. So you just got to grind out your marks for a couple weeks, and you'll get up there.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things I saw was there's actually no rewards given out until you complete the Prison of Elders. So it's not this incremental drip like it is in the raid. So what do people, I mean, do we like that or not? Do we think it would be better?
No, I like that. I absolutely like that. You got to push your way through, you have to make it through, and you have to earn those rewards. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a big draw of any kind of game that's loot driven, is that things should have a certain level of difficulty to acquire, because if they don't, then it takes all the fun out of acquiring it. Like the chase for Galley is still fun, it's already the summer and still chasing that thing. I still think about it. I still want it. Its rarity makes it, gives you a reason to play and gives you a level of stress and hope and want and all that. So a level of rarity, I think, is a good thing for games that are loot driven.
Yeah, I agree. One of the interesting things, I'm interested to complete it for the first time, because the one thing that they are fully NDA-ing all the YouTubers and streamers that have been there is they are not allowed to show that end reward screen, which means there's got to be something interesting attached to it. I don't know if it's some interesting mechanic for that last round with a boss, or just some kind of awesome trophy room or something that you get to go to. Not really sure. I think it's real interesting that they're intentionally not letting people show that, because usually the mission accomplished screen is nothing that special. So it makes me wonder what they have up their sleeve for that. Now, in particular, if I remember right, on the initial reef reveal with Gathalion, they had, when they were mousing over in terms of how you earn some of the materials, it was like etheric light was earned this way, or via a chest in the Prison of Elders. And that was one thing we didn't see at all this week in the stream reveal. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of like chest that opens up at the end, and I don't know, maybe confetti flies out and all kinds of goofiness. But
like a Nintendo game, like Mario Party.
Well, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, but your prize is in another castle.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty messed up. Unless there was a pipe to take to get to the end quickly. Yeah.
So what? Actually, the interesting
I'd be
thing
happy
is,
with a sound like this. Oh, I got my mute on. Hang on. I get that sound.
do it again for us, Ryan.
Yeah. So you have chest in Destiny. They can borrow from Nintendo.
I tell you what, if one of the rewards was a boomerang, like in your special weapons slot that kicked ass, I would fucking love that. That would make my day. And then I'm sure the Aussies, they would shit their pants, quite honestly.
Only if it had a drop bear.
That would be the
Final
boss.
Prison of Elders boss. Yep.
Smacking their ruse in the head. Well, by the way, am I the only one who didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago that drop bears aren't really real?
I'm gonna go with yes. Yes, you are.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Preacher just chimed in to say just you.
Wait, Creature what?
He says, just you Yanks, mate. Just you Yanks.
Just you Yanks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good guy, by the way. Newer member to the clan. Good guy. Played on him. I thought we had a good time with him last night.
Yeah, we had a good time. We couldn't get him his Crota hard carry, but we got him some sweet gear anyway, I think.
Yeah, so I will say that I think that's one of the reasons. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He can't be that good if he's going to refer to Cypher and I as Yankees.
There is that.
Well, I'm probably the only one who made the boomerang. So that might have been Yankees.
Well, it is about time people figure out the difference between Americans and Canadians.
Oh, never gets old. Never gets old.
Yeah.
Oh, you also hate Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Dude.
Yeah. So one of the other some of the other things I thought was interesting with the Prison of Elders that they're doing is they're not checkpointing you so that if you need to leave, so you get halfway through the Prison of Elders, there's no checkpoint if you go to orbit. So if you go to orbit and you start over, it's brand new from the beginning. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I think I think depends on how long it takes to actually get through there. If it's a 2 or 3 hour thing, that could be kind of rough. But I don't know. What do others think? Is it worth the challenge to do that, or should they be checkpointing?
It's a horde mode, so yeah, it's no checkpoint. Like Mike said, you hate going back to like Call of Duty, but when it comes to like zombies and stuff like that, you do have a checkpoint and different saves and stuff. But for the most part, if you die or anything, you're starting right from scratch, right?
Right.
So it just kind of follows with that, and it goes back to the whole that they're trying to compete with games like Call of Duty, so they've got to market to that extent, right? So
yeah.
They bring it up as this is end game activity. We're not getting a raid. This is what we're getting. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Like I said, if you want the rewards, you're going to have to fight all the way through to get them.
Yeah. So one of the neat things about that is that actually there's kind of that level of perseverance that you're going to have early on that you didn't necessarily have to have in the raid. So that's kind of a neat thing to bring up there with the making it feel that much more rewarding because. May 19th, if it takes us 4 hours to clear that, it's going to be both rage-inducing and ecstatic when you clear that the first time.
Yeah,
well, hey, in case
just
of
like
that,
Pro to hard mode.
Mode is Zen, hard mode, and the regular mode. It took us, we had, like my raid team tried 5 nights in a row, I think it was, pretty close, and then it wasn't until... Iggy will even attest to this. He dropped out. We bring in another guy who just had a chance that he could jump in, and boom, we got it.
Right.
And then we all tie for Hood, and it wasn't a dodge of a representative from every clan except for Fallen to jump in and do the raid with us, and boom, we took it down.
Yeah.
It was like a few weeks ago. My raid team, we pulled off. VOG hard mode and Crota Zen hard mode in 2 hours. Right.
Yes.
So we did both in 2 hours, and not to mention we 5-manned Crota, right?
Yeah. Well, who doesn't 5-man Crota now?
But yeah, everybody's doing it, right? So unless you want to be a warlock or a hunter and do it on your own or whatever, I don't know. But what was it? Smee's son who did it? Little
Right.
Smee.
Right. Yeah. Little Smee.
Yeah. But so.
So on those all those hard mode runs, a big part of what made them difficult was the mental exhaustion, because they were kind of on a bell curve every night, right? You'd start doing pretty good, you get better, you get better, you get better, and if you didn't get it, eventually you got mentally exhausted, and then you just started to suck. And so that'll be kind of part of the end boss on all this prison of Elder's Time, is that, you know, if those first few weeks, if you haven't figured out a team or a way to just blow through that stuff, it's going to get mentally exhausting, and that's going to be just as much part of the boss as anything.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of bosses, we're going to. Oh, go ahead, Rye.
I was going to say it's going to be the same thing as the raids, right? We're going to start out, and it's going to take us a few hours, but then you're going to get down, and you're going to get a strategy down, and you're going to blow through it.
Yeah.
Right? And what's going to happen is, you know, some nights it's gonna be like, okay, you know what, Baja, you and Base, you guys need an extra player. Then I jump in. Oh, by the way, guys, this is what we're doing over in our group. Oh, you know what, this is working for us. So now you guys end up subbing in, and pretty soon the whole clan's sharing the exact same strategy.
Right. Yeah, that's really neat that we can have like these 50, 60 people that all know the exact same way that our clan in particular runs. You know, VOG or Crota. There's none of this having to get in and explain everything after we do it, because everybody runs it different. It's nice that everyone just runs it the same, so you can get subs in real easy for anything.
Yeah, but it's a great point, though, that there's going to be a lot more pugs than there are when a raid drops. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it is all kind of occasions to run with people that you don't just run with. You know, that I think is one of the really cool aspects of it. Is that I think we'll see a lot of people just on any random night being like, "Hey, who wants to do PoE?" and you'll get immediate responses.
Right.
We also have to keep in mind, on the reveal, the 3 people that were playing had never played together before, so their communication was pretty much negligible. When it comes to our raid groups and our team-ups, our communication is down pat. I think it'll be a lot easier for us to run through it.
Not to mention we actually pick the right weapons for what we're doing.
Yeah, that too.
What the fuck was that? That made no sense whatsoever. Like, are you even trying to complete it, or do you know Destiny? I don't understand that.
So it didn't help them that they got the Arc mod on a Hive section either. So
yeah, it's kind of like Omnigul with it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the bosses there, one of the things I really liked was that that Cabal boss that they showed, whose shields were rotating. That kind of thing that we're seeing now, just that little bit, makes me real excited about what we're going to see through the rest of the Prison of Elders that we haven't seen yet, because that's going to be a lot of coordination and communication to say, okay, he's got Arc Shield, he's got Void Shield, he's got Fire Shield, and I imagine one person's going to have a complete Void Arc or Solar loadout, and that person's going to be in charge of burning it down. So it's just going to be interesting, you know, on the fly kind of mechanics, especially day one, for how to do all this stuff. I'm not sure I'll break out the Visio diagrams like I did for the Crota raid again, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, so those not on my raid team, I actually made Visio diagrams of the Crota chamber to figure out how we were going to do the Crota hard strat. That was kind of sad.
No, it was awesome. Come on now.
Oh, yeah. I'm an engineer, if you can tell. Yeah. All right, so...
Just because you own Visio.
Well, to clarify, my work laptop has Visio.
Ah, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The other 3 computers.
Yes, I am running 3 computers at the moment to make this stream happen. It is a lot.
Visio is only on one of them.
You can't hide, buddy.
Yeah. So, what else do we think about Prison of Elders? You know, anything else we want to add in before we move on?
No, it's exciting. You know, at first it was, I think it was, everybody agreed it was a little disappointing to hear about no new raid, but short of that, I think they did everything they did to still make the content, you know, money. I don't think people are going to come out of. I think people came out of the Dark Below a little bit like, really, this is it. I don't know that we're going to have the same feeling on this. It doesn't seem that way anyway.
Yeah.
Next time your wife walks by, get her to wave at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Pat is here, so he might lose his shit. So. So I'm looking at the chat right now, and Craich has got a really good point that I kind of want to bring up. I'm not sure if you meant to bring it or not, but do we think Prison of Elders is going to be cheesable the way some of the raids are? From what I've seen, I think it's going to be potentially really hard unless they have some magic ledges places.
That's a good point. Kind of like the strike.
Somebody
So
will
early on, how
find a way.
Go ahead, Cypher.
I said I think somebody will always find a way. Look at all those odd little cheeses that they found for doing Rhoda, Vogue. It's ridiculous. If there's something there, somebody's going to find it. Somebody's going to exploit it.
Every strike, right? Every single one of the strikes has some
Yep.
sort of cheese. It did have a cheese
Absolutely.
at some point or another. I mean, I think at least early on, there's going to be something you find that's going to give you the ability to cheese it. They might be able to correct it later on, but
Right.
there's going to be opportunities, I bet, on damn near every one of those playlists to cheese the bullets by
Right.
the boss. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. The one thing I have seen is it looks like there's not going to be a way to actually push somebody off a ledge like you can in pretty much every raid encounter. And
No.
I bet you they've tested the shit out of Sunsaner revives with this too.
Remember the Archon Priest, how you used to be able to go hide under the... Remember there was that platform and you could go hide under?
You could hide
Like,
under there, and then same thing.
Yeah, on top of chandeliers, under like people are gonna find spots where you can't get hit and you can get and there's gonna be a couple of weeks where you can kind of take advantage of the system. I mean, I think that's almost a given, quite honestly.
Right.
What I wonder is, like, where do these people come up with the stuff? Like, you remember the original Crota? They label it as a cheese, but it was an outright cheat when you would
Kill
sign
the
out.
internet.
Yeah, but like somebody obviously figured that out. Like, how the hell did you figure out that if you lose your internet connection right exactly at the same time he drops down, that boom, he doesn't stand back up?
Yeah.
I suppose it could have been an accident, but I'm more likely there's just people try everything.
Yeah. Yeah. People have more time than we do. That's for sure.
I'm telling you, they're clearly not dads.
Right.
There's no way.
Right. Yeah.
Not good ones, anyways. You might be a shitty one figuring out that stuff.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we've been talking a lot of Destiny. So we brought Mike in here for a special reason tonight.
And it's not the stripper pole.
Right.
Oh, then why did I get all these ones?
Hey, it takes 10
brave,
buddy.
Yeah. So as we're doing at each one of these podcast streams, what have you, we are definitely a Destiny-focused clan, but we also game other games. And Mike has kind of been leading the charge with the Dying Light crew. So I'm real interested in somebody who doesn't play that game at all. Kind of hear about some of your guys' stories from playing together and what you like about Dying Light and kind of gets you guys playing that.
Blowing Mike up.
Well, I've always been into sandbox games, and I'm also a big zombie fan. Walking Dead, the World War Z book before they bastardized it with that movie, and this combined them well.
Shaun of the Dead, just out of curiosity?
Shaun of the Dead. Just zombies in general, I've always been a fan of. And like I said, when they combine that with this sandbox game, it's great. I love it. And you can play it with an open world zombie game. You can play with your buddies and blow them up with propane tanks. You don't get any better than that.
Yeah.
There's so much to do.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick. If I remember right, I'll annotate when I post this to YouTube a video of RC blowing the shit out of Mike in one of their Dying Light matches, and Tad can put whatever spin he wants on blowing the shit out of while he's at it.
No, it was that, and it was honestly, it was just something just fun and honest. Like, I walk by and I go to this metal like gate that's closed. I'm like, you know what? I probably can't hit through it, but let's try it. And I see Mike walking by with the propane tank. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll just try it anyways. Slice at it. All of a sudden, you see the tank going, and then to hear his reaction on the other side, it was priceless. Like, geez, my buddy from work, he was playing with us that night. He stepped away for a little bit, came back to hear like the two of us almost in tears, crying, laughing so hard. He's like, "What did I miss?" I'm like, nothing too much."
But the thing is, if you watch the video, I actually throw the propane tank at Brian, and he hits it perfectly, and it bounces right back into my hands, and I panic. I mean, it's just I forgot how to throw the propane tank, so I'm frantically for like 5 seconds, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, literally, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and the bastard blew me
One
up.
of those old Bugs Bunny cartoons or something.
It's that describes it perfectly. Felt like Wile E. Coyote. I really did.
The best was like last night. He tries to get me back, so I got my character down trying to lockpick a chest, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get him back." So he hits a propane tank right beside me. Little does he realize there's a propane tank beside him, so he blows the two of us up.
I can't win for losing. I mean, it's
whatever reason, this just gave me an idea for a great new melee attack in Destiny, and it would give you a reason to want strength. What if they had a melee attack for like the Warlocks or something like that, where you did the melee, it shot out like an energy blast that would blow grenades that were coming towards you back towards you? How cool would that be?
It's like a defender.
Already like a force push.
Like, what? Oh my god, and then you would want actually to have strength. You wouldn't just want intellect discipline.
Yeah.
But
Is there anybody who doesn't just want intellect discipline, by the way? Because it seems like that's all.
going back to the whole story too for Dying Light is actually really a fun game story wise too. I've done probably about about a third of the game, just going through the campaign solo, and then once we really got down to playing with the co-op and stuff, it was actually I started playing it co-op with Iggy and Invited. And then actually shortly after that, Mike came back to the clan, and we started talking, and we were talking about Dying Light, and he's like, "Oh man, I love that game." So basically, him and we've been running off of that, and actually, it's funny, like him and I have been tossing around possibly doing a YouTube show where we go head to head in different games, trying to kill each other.
Perfect. So
yeah.
We will get you a video playlist on the channel just for that.
It does happen in Grand Theft Auto, by the way. We'll do like 8 on 8, 8 people death matches and stuff like that, where the entire city is the board and you're just trying to kill each other.
Yeah. So I want to jump in here real quick and just throw out there that T-Coda really likes Bahamut's idea for the OP Warlock. I have to agree with that. I also want to give a shout out to Felicia Fox, who was joining us in chat and having a good time in there and ripping on our guys. So thanks for watching the podcast, Felicia.
He's ripping on us?
Oh yeah, she's giving Dynasty a hard time.
Oh, perfect. Somebody's got to.
That makes sense, though. Okay.
And Iggy's telling
all the time. We have to have random strangers rip on us too, right?
Right, I know. I mean, we got Iggy telling Icy to put some ice in his pants because So,
Oh Jesus!
Are you one of the Dying Light guys too? I can't remember.
What was that?
Sorry?
I was just asking Cypher if he was one of these Dying Light guys too. I couldn't remember.
Yep, that I am. I have the game. I've played it probably about halfway through the campaign.
Yeah. So is the story actually any good, in your opinion? Or is it just more fun just to run around and do goofy shit?
I've thoroughly enjoyed the story thus far. It's really built around quests and go fetch this, do that kind of thing. But with how wide open the whole area is, it makes it a blast to go and do it. Especially with the parkour part of the game, it makes it so much fun to hop from building to building.
Yeah, so is it actually as fluid as it looks like it is in the trailers, not having played the game?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So how's it compare?
Even the controls are set up a little differently than what you would expect, but once you get used to them, they become second nature for hopping across buildings.
Yeah.
You could always button the route map, I suppose, right? I mean, if you wanted to.
I find
Oh, yeah.
that going from the controllers, like from Dying Light into Destiny, it's not as hard as say playing Bloodborne and going back to Destiny. Right?
See, no, I thought it was easy to go from Bloodborne to Destiny because Destiny all of a sudden felt really easy.
Yeah, well, but the thing is the controls, right? Just ask Tomb, who was trying to all of a sudden use like a blood vial or something to heal himself in the middle of a Crota's run, or he's pressing O to run and it's not working.
Right.
I'm sorry, so just speaking of games that you run around and do crazy shit just to have fun, is anybody else excited about Just Cause 3?
No.
Oh, anybody play Just Cause 2?
So what are they remastering?
It was really fun.
It's Just Cause is, and honestly, Just Cause and Dying Light are a lot alike. And I also compared Dying Light to Skyrim. There are a lot of side missions. I probably spent most of the game just playing side missions and finally ran out of stuff to do and said, oh, well, I guess I can go finish the game. And that being said, they're actually adding, the Dying Light DLC comes out the end of the month with their own Horde mode and adding a new part of the map. So it's going to be a lot of fun coming up.
Dune Buggy.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
One of the things that always draws me to particular games is your method of movement, like what your method of locomotion is. And one of the reasons I always like Destiny and Just Cause is just I like the thing with the parachute and your ability to do the grappling hook. It just gives you such a freedom of movement, right? You can go in any direction, 360 degrees, very quickly. Same thing with Destiny. I love the ability to shoot off in any particular direction and have that freedom of movement.
Right now in Dying Light, one of the things that Mike and I tend to use a lot of is our grappling hook. And I wouldn't even consider it a grappling hook. It's more like your Spider-Man shooting a web and pulling yourself.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Now, apparently, there is an Easter egg in Dying Light. I haven't found it yet, but there's a Super Mario world that you can go into, and if you do it correctly, you can get the raccoon suit, and you end up getting a flying squirrel suit that if you use it properly, you can actually glide from buildings.
Oh, no,
that's crazy.
Did you ever play, Ryan, did you play Just Cause 2?
I tried it out.
Like it, really? Okay.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just never really. I didn't own a copy of it. I've only played it at a buddy. Like when I go down to New Hampshire, I go to a good friend's house, and that's where I tried it out. One of the things I did like was Just Cause 2 was big when Lost was out. So they actually made a Lost Island that you could go to. Like it even had the what was it, the capsule and everything, right? Like you actually had to jump out of a flying plane and just to get to this island. But
I think you should give it a shot. It gives you a lot of options to play the game how you want to play it. It's fun. You have infinite kind of options to accomplish your objectives, kind of like Far Cry and things like that.
Yeah. So I'll jump in here. I actually tried Just Cause 2. It's probably been 4 years now at this point because it's been a while. I gave it a fair shot, like 6 hours or something like that. I personally just could not get into it because something about just lack of story and the actual third-person shooting mechanics are kind of goofy for me. I either really latch on or I don't, and I just could not latch on to the mechanics in that game for whatever reason. So, so for me, Just Cause 3 isn't on my radar, but there's so much else coming out that I'm not sure it would be anyway.
I'm assuming.
I'll honestly say that I did not like The Last of Us.
Oh, I just cut off his feed now. Cut off his feed now and be done with him.
I couldn't get out.
Can we just mute him?
Story.
Donkey brains. No.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody watches Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but if you do, that reference will make sense to you. Anyways.
Yeah, well, you're okay to have that opinion, Ray. I won't look that down on you.
I'm willing to give it a second shot, and I can borrow it from a buddy of mine, but my backlog is just too much right now.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, I think, with all of us. But like, I actually rebought it for PS4 the other day, just thinking, well, maybe I'll have a lull sometime in the summer, end of August, and I'll play through that again, just because for me, that was like a seminal game. The actual shooting mechanics weren't super solid, but they weren't a hindrance to the interest I had in the game. But from a story-wise and presentation, that's been one of the best I've had in recent history. But that's just me.
Emotional attachment to characters too. Just like you felt like you were there.
I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now and laughing. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for taking my side invited.
Well, there's a lot of love for Just Cause, so I have a feeling that's going to be a big game for the clan when that comes out.
I think the online component of trying to accomplish objectives together with the freedom of movement and the different things that you can do that's going to be fun to do as a group. It really will be.
It's gonna be a packed fall for us. I mean, between
That's the downside to fatherhood, man. Nobody fucking warns you that you won't get to play all the games you want to. Like, holy shit, man.
Right.
That's,
well, I'm not even.
You get to play them a lot cheaper on Binding because you're buying them for $15 game of year with all the DLC attached once you finally get around to it, which is kind of nice.
One thing that surprised me is that now I only heard it through the grapevine, and I don't know how certain it is because I haven't really researched it, but there's a lot of speculation that Black Ops 3 is going to have a 4-player co-op for the.
I heard that as well. I heard the same thing.
So.
Then you've got Battlefront coming out. So.
Yeah.
So did you see all the awards that Destiny got when it was the game developers voting amongst themselves for their peers?
No.
So they actually did really well in any number of different categories when it came to, not necessarily the gaming press, but when it was their peers voting on different systems and things like that, they won a fair number of awards. I do think there's a lot of people in the game development community that are. I think anything they are taking from Destiny is that cooperative gameplay.
Right.
Not been central enough in their design, and that it needs to be more central because there's a huge market for that.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is like Borderlands is this great big cooperative game that kind of, for me, was the game that brought cooperative play to shooters, mainstream, in terms of PvE environment anyway. But I never latched onto it because there was never really a reason to be a cooperative player. It was kind of the same experience whether you played by yourself or with other people. You just killed shit faster when you had other people. So the difference with Destiny is that there's actually the level of teamwork involved with it. So that's when you talk about being the core of the design of being cooperative, I think you're hitting it right on the head, and that's I think something we're going to see with a lot of games over the next 5-6 years. Is really going to be driving into that kind of cooperative accomplishment required to advance, which is going to be a wall to a lot of people, and it would have been for me before Destiny, but now, especially that we got the clan going, it's a way forward.
I mean, it will be a wall, but I think that it's almost kind of a generational thing in a certain aspect. Like, I don't think that people in 18 years younger than us or 20 years younger than us that are playing games are going to think of that as a wall anymore.
Yeah. So, all right. I think, unless we have any more thoughts on the matter, we're going to work on bringing this to an end. So, anyone got any last little bits to interject here?
RC is a douche.
Yeah.
Put that thing away.
All right. So let me run down what's going on with the clan. I got 3 dates here on my list of stuff. Just want to run out what's going on. So. This is episode 2 of Tales of the Grimoire. Episode 3 is going to be May 18th. So Baja and I will be back with that. I think I invited Cracker, says he's going to come on for that. So we're going to be looking for
no Cracker will come.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking for another couple people to come on for that. And we're going to have a pre-House of Wolves launch party. I'm not really sure what's involved with that yet. but it's probably going to be a lot of Destiny talk and probably not a lot else. So we'll see what's going on with that.
So we're doing half days on the 19th and full days off on the 20th, right?
That I'm probably working the 20th, but definitely half day on the 19th. So
you guys see the thing in the chat today that House of Wolves isn't even going to drop until 1 p.m. Eastern?
Well, that's why we're talking half days.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not wasting 8 hours when I can just.
I'm off at 2:30 Eastern, so to me it doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I might still take a. Thanks, Mike. I might still take a full day, just to hang out with the wife and kids before I kick them out for a day. But so May 19th, I'm going to be streaming on the Clan channel for like 6 or 8 hours that day. We're going to see probably full story rundown, the strike, at least one clear of the Prison of Elders with some of my Hive Knight buds, and probably some Crucible play. Especially, I want to get in there and run some of that elimination mode and just regular matchmaking. Just get a feel for that and look what we have got going on there. So, and then my guess is somebody else when I'm done streaming is going to be picking up and then streaming the 20th as well. And then we canceled a couple week and a half ago our Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare night just due to Iron Banner week dominating. So we're going to reschedule that one for May 29th. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, I believe, but we'll make do. So that's kind of what's going on for the clan. It's going to be busy for us. So. Baha, any last words?
Yeah, busy. I'm sure there's a lot of us getting the Witcher as well, Witcher 3. So we might want to look into seeing if we need to get a Witcher band going here pretty soon, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people getting that.
I have one already.
Oh.
You have a Witcher band?
We do.
A Witcher band for a
I have not seen that.
You're not invited.
You're not invited.
Can there please be an invite posted on the Clan Grimoire thing, pretty please?
I don't know.
Don't be a dick!
They might be able to just send you an invite.
All right, Mike.
I'm not ready to
say.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see over the next little while a few other bands come up.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, we decided as a clan, like as the admin, that we wanted a minimum 12 people interested, and if you don't have it, then sorry, you can use the main Clan Grimoire chat to chat about your game. So.
Yep. So, all right, Mike, any last words?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back playing with you boys again. It's been too long.
I'm tearing up, I think.
I'm not.
Iggy's chubbing it, so that's better than him, right?
Well, he's trying to calm down. I see in the chat right now. I see got a little happy, I think.
What happened?
Oh, I see he's excited. Yeah, in the chat. We'll just leave it at that. Cypher, any last words?
No, really. It's glad you guys brought me on board for this one. It's been good fun.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming. Right, Kurt.
No, nothing really. I mean, we've discussed a fair amount. There's been quite a chat going on, and with that, I've had my phone going with just the Twitch chat, so I could see what's going on in there too. And
can I get a brief description of what's going on in the Twitch chat? Just a brief.
See, you got to download the Twitch app on your phone, and then when you bring it up, you can mute the Twitch channel and just watch the chat go wild. It's hilarious. It's not as wild as watching the Bungie one, where you can't even look at a word to see what was saying during that, right? But it's just.
Well, if we had that many viewers.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for watching this live, particularly those who are not in the clan who somehow stumbled upon us and are putting up with our random bullshit. I'm impressed. Thanks a lot.
Hey, random's awesome. He's a good guy.
I'm not talking about random. Just random
people.
Yeah.
Oh,
particularly Felicia, who's in here getting IC all worked up, and he's probably going to have to really long.
Words of advice: invited. Go take a cold shower before the raid.
Is Felicia a redhead? Just curiosity.
Alrighty, guys. So we're going to wrap it up with that.
Redhead's got him worked up. I could have sworn that's what I heard.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to stay on the channel, I'm going to go off air for a little bit, and then we're going to switch it over to Invited Cracker, who's going to be streaming the Vex Raid tonight, which Rykurt's a member of. So this is Basement 45 signing off.